Hello, how are you? Happy Africa Day. Oh. Hello. I'm late, I'm sorry. I hope you guys had a great Africa Day. Please bear with me, the connection. There's something wrong with my connection today. I couldn't join some of the lives that I intended to join. Happy Africa Day. I hope you had a great Africa Day. Oh, guys, every time I'll have a very bad day, and by the time I start this live, whether I'm late or not, I just feel much better. So thank you guys for saving my life during this past 60 days. Today I had Lorraine challenged me on Jacana Media's Twitter profile. There's a tweet going on about Africa Day and reading from an African book. So I read, the connection has been very bad and it's just ruined most of today because I couldn't join all the other lives. But during the day, I was trying to shoot and read my entry for the challenge. So I chose a poem from Lebogang Mashile's Hello Opalo. I chose from In a Ribbon of Rhythm. I'm gonna read it to you guys. I don't know if you guys know of this first anthology. I don't know the name of the other one, but this is the one that I got when I was totally obsessed with Lebogang Mashile. This is like back in 2006. But yeah, I read You and I, we are the keepers of dreams. We mold them into light beams and weave them into life's seams. You and I. No, life is not what it seems. We strip the fat from the lean and find the facts in between. The visions we redeem and the agony of choice. Yours is just a mind and mine just a voice. But when we love with a heat that rises like a song in flight on the flesh of our backs. If it's love that we lack, then we walk with the pain that we seek and the love exchange that we spite. As we walk through indecision fading in fright, we ride the crest of intuition on the journey of this life. And by the hands of the infinite we hear the cries of the rest, weighed down by the intelligence submitting to this test. But you and I push the boundary of reason. You and I plot the mystery of seasons. You and I paint this history to free men. Nothing can be stopped like you and I. You and I, we are the keepers of dreams. We mold them into light beams and weave them into life's seams. You and I, we are the keepers of dreams. We mold them into light beams and weave them into life's seams. I loved it. I loved how she performed it. It was amazing. She does actually have this on audio. Well, some of them. But yes, that's what I read earlier for the Africa Day Jacana Media Challenge. So today I'm going to read for you from Siphiwo Mahala's African Delights. I didn't pin it. That shows you just how dear Makara I am today. But I'm actually going to be reading from I could picture her performing from the last performance I saw many moons ago. Thank you, Yedwa. So there's short stories in here. I'm going to read from The Dress That Fed the Suit, which is Zukiswa Wanner's contribution to this short stories. But I'm also going to read the back of the book before I start, and then I will save it on the IGTV for those who have missed it, who have missed the first part of it, and then I will put the name of the book as well on the IGTV. But yeah, these wide-ranging stories take us from Sapphire Town in the drum era to the rural Eastern Cape to the luxury Josie homes of present-day entrepreneurs. By turns poignant, raunchy, philosophical and funny, they cast a wry and astute eye on universal human questions and conundrums presented by our particular historical moment. These short stories are they also include a foreword by Mandlalanga. So there's 4 parts. Part 1 is about the suit stories, which is a tribute to Can Temba, and the part 2 is White Encounters. Part 3 is the truth. Part 4 is African Delights. So I'm going to be reading from the suit stories, part 1, the dress that fed the suit. Can you read the title of all the short stories for us? Yeah, sure. So it starts with the foreword by Mandlalanga, and then part 1 is the suit stories, a tribute to Can Temba. The first story is called The Suit Continued. And then the second one is the dress that fed the suit, and then that is by Zukiswa Wanner, because the suit went missing, so Zukiswa Wanner decided to write the dress that fed the suit. And then the third story is The Lost Suit. Part 2 is White Encounters, and then Bonzi's Toe. That's the second story, and then the third one under White Encounters is Hunger. So on his latest book, which is Red Apple Dreams and Other Stories, let me show you the cover of the second one. This is his latest offering. Bonzi's Toe does feature in this one as well. And then part 3 has The Truth. And under part 3, there's 3 stories. The Truth, The Other Truth, and So Many Truths. And then part 4 is African Delights, which is the title of the book. And then African Delights has The Queen of the Highlanders, African Delights, The Best of African Delights. And then there's an afterword thereafter. So, maybe I should actually read the foreword, just a little bit of the foreword. It's very long because it's Mandlalanga. Hello, Miss Wanner. So Simula says most of these stories are in Red Apple Dreams and Other Stories. Let me see. I know Bonzi's Toe is in there because I was at the launch and I haven't read the okay, I see what you mean with Hunger, Bonzi's Toe, and the suit Can Temba. But then the suit continued is in there. Yes, I see what you mean. The Lost Suit and the dress that fed Zukiswa. The dress that fed the suit. Okay. So there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them that are in there, and there's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 stories in Red Apple Dreams and Other Stories, and then 6 of them they do feature in African Delights. I enjoyed African Delights. I need to revisit it, but I read it like maybe in 2012, so I need to go back to it and remind myself. But yeah, so let me read just a short paragraph of the foreword to make sense of and to claim for our own Siphiwo Mahala's collection of short stories, a smorgasbord of tasty tidbits aptly named African Delights. We first need to understand why Mahala felt compelled to draw us into his imagined universe. It is a universe eloquently evoked by the Uruguayan writer Eduardo Galeano in his essay In Defense of the Word, which appears in his Days and Nights of Love War. One writes out of a need to communicate and to commune with others, to denounce that which gives pain and to share that which gives happiness. One writes against one's solitude and against the solitude of others. One writes for the people whose luck or misfortune one identifies with, the hungry, the sleepless, the rebels, and the wretched of the earth, and the majority of them are illiterate. So, yeah. The notion of writing for the illiterate is probably self-contradictory, since it raises the question of access to written symbols that encode words. Illiteracy also is a darkness to which a vast majority of our people has been subjected. During a visit to Beijing, this writer was briefly separated from his group in Tiananmen. Panicked, he couldn't tell where he was or how to get to his hotel. All the signage was in Chinese characters and he didn't know the language. An illiterate person in South Africa is that and more. His or her bewilderment is compounded by the stigma that attaches itself to the unlettered, who are usually dismissed as ignorant and uncivilized. Hello, Eva. But to write for the constituency of the downtrodden, the wretched of the earth, can only be achieved through a complete identification with the plight of people whom the African-American poet Margaret Walker calls all the people, all the faces, all the Adams and Eves, and their countless generations. This cannot be achieved if the writer fails to master the language that strikes a chord with his or her readers. The readers in a country like South Africa might not necessarily need to know the alphabet, but they must be gifted with the patience to listen to a story being read out. As a form, the short story lends itself to being read out and uses fewer formal elements than the novel. For instance, it does not face the hurdles of developing those major elements of fiction: character, plot, theme, point of view, and so on. So, he says, I am part of the fellowship of writers that welcomes the addition of African delights to the body of South African arts and letters. I'm going to read Zukiswa Wanner's entry into this short story collection. It's on page 27. I think the only reason why I read Zukiswa Wanner's entry is because today is the first day for season 3 of the virtual literary festival Afro Lit Sans Frontiers. It's the sessions are from 2:00 and the evening ones are at 8:00 on Instagram. Afro Lit Sans Frontiers is the page that you should follow. The Dress That Fed the Suit by Zukiswa Wanner. Dear Phil, by the time you read this letter, I will be dead. I'm not sure how you will feel about my death, since you have been killing me mentally, bit by bit, ever since that day many weeks ago when Terry jumped out of our bedroom window in his underwear. Maybe you will finally forgive me. Maybe society will never absolve me of this final act of wanting to be free, or indeed the infidelity that led to this suicide. But I felt I owed it to you to explain. Thus this note. On that fateful day when my perfect world came crashing down, I could not believe my eyes. In an instant, the man who had thought me an angel lost all faith in me. while the man who pleased and amused me in other ways was gone, never to return again. When you came in and I whispered to Terry, "That's him, my husband," I know he could not believe it either. What I do not understand is how Terry could ever have believed that a beautiful woman like me could be single. But even more than that, did he think I had my own place in this age and era where the black man is oppressed, but the black woman even more so because she cannot own or rent property? After all, I spent most mornings with him except during the weekends, and he never saw me taking in any washing, so just where did he think I got my money from? He certainly did not see me running a shebeen or going for a night shift at the corner of Victoria Road. Ah, to be a simple man. Maybe he was drunk. Maybe he was drunk all through the 3 months I was with him. But then again, Terry and I never did talk much. I never wanted you to find out the way you did. If truth be told, I never wanted you to find out, full stop. I have my suspicions about how you found out. My mind tells me, even now, as I take my final breaths, that it probably came from that old woman, Mama Pikela. She and those old women friends of hers from church could never seem to mind their own business. It might have been even worse for me because I had everything that they wanted but could not get. You have always been a kind, reliable husband, while the husbands drank all their money at the shebeens. And then too, I was young and beautiful, and men were attracted to me. Phil, something they lost when they married, but I never did. Anyway, I was explaining about the miserable day. You have no idea how terrible that day was for me. How was I to know the following days and would be worse? On that day, I made sure that when you returned, the house was spick and span. You know I'm not much of a cleaner, but it was the nervous energy that got me doing all that. I was wearing that dress that got you to talk to me the very first time we met. I made your favorite meal of rice, chicken and salads with pumpkin on the side, even though it was not a Sunday. I hope that this would help you to forgive me, maybe even forget a little and just remember the good old days when it was just you and me. But no, it was not to be. I feel like I've read this story before. Maybe I didn't take away the book. But anyway, I looked at you closely as you walked in that night from the shebeen where you had gone to try to drown the picture of what you had seen in our bedroom earlier that day. Dear Phil, you were never much of a drinker, and generally a few glasses can drown you, but on this day, even the alcohol failed you. I could see your messenger boy who dreams to be a lawyer brain asking yourself, what makes a woman like this experiment with adultery? I will tell you what made me do it, and because by the time you read this I will be dead, I feel I can give you cash talk. My husband, you are an intelligent man, even now taking night school so that you can be a lawyer, learning what you can from your boss lawyer. You do not frequent Sapphire Town's shebeens every day like the likes of that Ken Temba, the journalist, or even Terry. You would bring your full salary home every month end, and you would sit down and budget together, and we would sit down and budget together to save for our future and the children we hoped to have. You would discuss with me deep stuff about the unfortunate role of the black man in today's apartheid South Africa. Half the stuff I honestly did not understand. You would insist that we take our washing to the dry cleaners because you did not want my soft hands to be destroyed by cheap soaps. You even made it a point to bring me breakfast in bed every morning before you went to work. So what made a woman like me toy with adultery? From the looks of things, You seemed like the perfect man. In fact, many women would argue that you were. To start with, you were the only man I had ever been with. When we married, you well know I was a virgin. Unfortunately, Phil, I spent my days at home alone most of the time while you were at work. And when you sit in the house with very little to do, you start wondering what else may be out there. You wonder whether there are more sexual positions than the missionary position your husband always insists on. You wonder why many women spend ages at the communal tab talking about sex and how men are rocking their world when you have never felt anything like that. You wonder too whether all there is to conversation is stuff about the Mandelas and the Sobukwes, meetings and marches on whether the authorities will care for our Sophia Town opinion when we say we won't go, whether there is more to life than the politics of us and them. So one day you pass by 39 Steps Shibin to get a Coke in the morning, and you just feel a weird attraction to this man sitting there drinking half a jack. You smile at him, and with guts you never knew you had, you invite him to finish his drink at your place. One thing leads to another, and soon, apart from making dinner for you in the evening, Phil, he is the one thing that I look forward to every morning when I wake up. And between the two of you, I was waking up late in the mornings, worn out. Maybe a woman is not supposed to love only one man, but needs two to get all the qualities she needs in her perfect man. Because I loved you, I still do, even as I pen these dying words. But in some odd way, I loved and still love Terry too. Right from the get-go, I noticed that you and Terry were different, Phil. He is tall and fit in spite of the copious amounts of alcohol he consumes, while you are short and thin. He is dark, where you are fair. So fair, some people even mistake you for a colored. You are serious and ambitious. Terry is funny and just happy to have a job and enough money to pay off his debts at 39 Steps. You tell me that when you look at me, I remind you of what the Greek goddess of wisdom Athena must have looked like. Terry tells me that I look better than Dolera Tebe in those pin-ups in drum. I'm sure Athena must have been something, but the only Greek woman I know is that fat woman whose husband runs the butchery, and Phil, sometimes a woman just wants to be Dolly. You are complicated. You speak these deep English words, but you probably could not survive Sophia Town on your own after 10. I have never heard Terry say any deep stuff, yet I know he is streetwise. You get stressed if I do not pay the rent the day you give me the money for it. Terry probably smooth talks his way out of paying rent every other month after he has drunk it all away if his wife does not come to pick up his paycheck on payday. I felt secure with both of you in different ways. With you, I knew we would have a wonderful life together in old age. And with Terry, I knew when walking beside him, I was safe. Terry was always the present, Phil. The here and now. I never once considered running away with him. You, on the other hand, were my future. Yes, Terry is a drunk. Yes, he probably is a bad husband, and as a teacher, a miserable role model for the children of Sophia Town. But Phil, sweetie, Terry was exciting. I never had to think deeply about what I wanted to say before I opened my mouth when I was with him. With you, I am always trying to prove that yes, I read the paper. Yes, I learned a new English word today. Yes, I listened to the news on the radio. No, I'm different from all these women of Sophia Town who never have both beauty and brains. Sometimes it gets tiring, but you caught me, and it was torture. I could not believe that you would make me set a place at the table for the suit as a way of punishing me and ensuring that Terry could not come to retrieve his suit. It was hard at first, but soon I got used to it, particularly when you allowed me to join the social club at the church. For the first time, I had other young housewives for friends. I could share secrets and giggle with them. Some of them told me the type of bedroom stories that made me wistful for Terry. Although we continued with the routine of feeding the suit, and one Sunday you even made me take a walk with it, I was seriously believing that you were ready to realize that I had repented and that you would soon forgive me. Imagine my shock then when, in spite of the extra money you gave me to entertain my friends today, you still insisted I take the suit out, put it at the table, and feed it like I have to do when we are just the two of us, with all those people looking at me as if they all knew my embarrassing secret. Sure, you did not try to tell the truth when I lied about our little game by way of explaining what I was doing dishing for a suit, but still, you humiliated me, Philemon. Yes, I admit, you got your revenge. I cannot live with the shame. Soon the whole of Sophia Town will know about the woman who fed the suit, Terry's wife among them. I have nothing more to live for. You have successfully killed my spirit. So what then is the body? Your joke went too far. Are you still laughing? Oh, by the way, another reason I am killing myself. I have been waiting and praying and worrying, but I cannot fool myself any longer. I am 2 months late. I am pregnant, Phil, and I am not sure whether it's yours or Terry's. So I leave you both. I wish you luck with your next wife. Your Tilly. So that is The Dress That Fed the Suit by Zukiswa Wanner. This is from African Delights by Siphiwo Mahala. Siphiwo also has his current book, Red Apple Dreams and Other Short Stories and Other Stories. It features stories by Ken Temba, James Matthews, and Jabule Ndebele and Zukiswa Wanner. So yes, like Samule said earlier. Hi Lorraine. This Red Apple Dreams and Other Stories does feature stories, some I think 5 or 6 stories that are in this first one, which is African Delights. They've been reworked. Yes, so this one also has a, let me see what the, okay, so in the introduction, he actually it is actually also quite long, just like the intro by Ndate Mandalanga, the foreword by Ndate Mandalanga in this one. So yes, that is what I read today for you guys. I hope. Lorraine says, I loved all the short stories, especially the first 3 in African Delights. I like the short story so much. I haven't heard it in about 13 years. Bantu Azania, thank you. Sure. I actually need to revisit African Delights because I do remember loving it so much when I read it. Yes, Lorraine says the love that Siphiwo has for Ken Temba though. Yeah, it's a deep love. So you can get both these books. I think this one you might probably get at good bookstores. I got mine at Exclusive Books in Cresta in 2011. So yes, I haven't read it since 2011. Or maybe I'm lying. I did read it in 2012. Yeah. because I used to write, finished March the 3rd, 2013. See, so I read it in 2013 and I bought it in 2012. But yes, this is one of two. I don't know if Siphiwo has other stories published anywhere else, like online or anything, but these are the two books that I know of him. I think these are the only two. I stand to be corrected, but yeah, I like what Mandla Langa says at the back of Red Apple Dreams. Contemporary South Africa, a state in flux, needs to read the stories to understand how it is seen by some of the sharpest commentators that this democracy produced. And Carolyn Meads says, who is a publisher, says the strength of Mahala's work lies in the fact that it is both entertaining and thought-provoking. When a Man Cries, I don't think I have it. Oh, he has a novel, When a Man Cries. Okay, so 2 short story anthologies and one novel. Okay, so I guess I read this as a reminder to myself that I need to get back into the reading of short stories, so that I can get out of a reading rut or anything like that. But I am not in a reading rut. I am reading Behold the Dreamers, and I'm actually halfway now, so I'm actually quite enjoying that. There is one part that I actually enjoyed in this book where the boss, because this is an immigrant story, where the main character Jende is a driver. He's a chauffeur for a very rich family. I'm trying to get that part where the boss actually confesses to Jende that he writes poetry. He writes poetry, but no one knows that he writes poetry. So I should have actually put in I'll read it for you guys soon. But okay, I found it. Thank you, Lord. I found it. I only read this because I remembered that, well, I needed to share something else today that I liked reading during the weekend. So his poem goes like this. Home will never go away. Home will be here when you come back. You may go to bring back fortune. You may go to escape misfortune. You may even go just because you want to go. But when you come back, we hope you'll come back. Home will still be here. Rah! I loved it. I thought it was so short and it's simple, but it's so impactful. That's what I liked about my weekend. I read this and I kept reading it, and I was like, okay, every time I miss home, I'll remember this, because home is always there, no matter what happens, no matter the circumstances that made you leave home. When you get back, it will still be home. Oh, loved it. So that is it. Lorraine says, it took me a while to reconcile Siphiwo with his writing. I was shocked when I researched on him in 2013. So young, and the writing was so matured, so political and very rich in South African history. Like, I enjoyed the Sophia Town backdrop on African Delights. Sure, like, there's so much history in our stories, guys. Like, and I said this last week, that once you start reading one book that mentions a historical event, you immediately start wanting to know more. You know, you wanna research and Google. I'm like that kind of that kind of reader, where if someone is talking about, some war. I'm like, yo, let me go to Google. Like, I take long to read and finish a book because I'm always Googling. Like, if someone is talking about something online or on socials, I'm like, okay, I need to Google. I'm that kind of reader. Like, I want to learn more. And every time I read a book, I feel like I still have so much more reading to do. But anyway, that is that, guys. Thank you guys for joining me today. Happy Africa Day. I hope you had an amazing day, and I hope you read something from an African author. I hope by the end of the week I would be done with this book. It is amazing. It's really marvelous. I can't even... It makes me sad to think that there are so many immigrants' stories that are like this story. But yeah, Imbolo Mbuwe's Behold the Dreamers is what I'm currently reading, and I am loving it. But yes, I think I did read for you guys before, but it wasn't saved. It wasn't before I started saving on IGTV. But yes, I'm gonna save this on the IGTV in case you came in late, so that you can hear that short story that I read by Zukiswa Wanner on Siphiwo Mahala's African Delights. See you guys tomorrow at 5. Don't forget to send in your reading suggestions for me. But yeah, we will talk tomorrow. Bye. Happy Africa Day.